Hello? Can you hear me? I am in shock. Look what you've done. I have disco lights in my room with all the notifications. It's insane. So we'll be playing the Angel of Darkness. We're going to play the Louvre bit with James Kenny, the texture environment artist, concept art artist. He will not be joining us for entire stream, but for like an hour. Ady Smith, not Adrian Smith, even though they're the same name, but Ady Smith, he was like environmental artist as well. He done like Louvre and stuff like that. Peter Connelly, the soundtrack composer and sound effects designer guy. And Murti Schofield, of course, the writer of the game. What I'll be doing a lot today, because there's not much lore we have on the Louvre itself in terms of like, cut stuff. What we have though is a lot of symbolic and semiotic content on paintings and stuff like that, which me, as a person with a BA and Master of Arts in Media Production Communications, read through all the paintings, and I'm sure they did not intend them to be read like that, but hopefully they did. And we will find out a lot of hidden meanings in the artworks today, which are quite poetic. So guys, Peter, Ady, James, how does it feel knowing that, 18 years now been passed and we're still playing it? We still love this game, even though it didn't had like the best reception, let's just say it that way.
Well, I think it looks absolutely fantastic. I think looking back retrospectively, I think it was probably way ahead of its time, and that didn't really resonate with many people.
Ady, what are your feelings about
Well, if it's anything like my profile picture, that's what it's done to me.
Oh no!
It's pretty good. No, I'm really honoured by what the fans have made by it. So
sorry to interrupt you, dears, but the Queen is here, Jonell Elliott herself.
Hello, Jonell.
I'm
Been a
really
while.
sorry about that. I hope I didn't interrupt, but my iPad just fell on the floor and made a huge crash. So I'm sorry for making such an, abrupt entrance.
Bob is asking if you guys, Peter, Ady, James, have you seen any patches and how like people actually made this game? They patched it up to enable some of the stuff. Like the one I'm playing right now is heavily fan patched.
no,
not really. I mean, I know the controls needed improving. So anybody who's done some work on that, I think is welcome.
I know they did the HD version of it, which was remarkable. And seeing all the really good detail work on the levels and the artwork was fantastic.
Jonell, we have a request for you from Steve04. Could you please say out loud, Macho Broccoli?
Macho broccoli.
There we go. Steve, enjoy.
Macho broccoli.
Jonell, you're the best.
Any vegetables you want talking about? I'm your girl.
So this is actual Louvre catacombs. We just passed that bit. Sorry, I got carried away. So this is two Louvre catacombs that actually like Louvre catacombs, because Louvre used to be a fortress. So foundation is still there. So you guys from Core recreated it very nicely and faithfully.
Yeah, well, we went to the Louvre. We flew over.
Oh.
Myself, Pastor Maguire, and Graham Carrier went over to do some, but we weren't officially meant to be there. Like, they couldn't get permission, so we just turned up.
Wow.
And we were walking around, and I was kind of taking photos of this, that, and the other. And I was taking photos of like the security cameras and things, because we were trying to get like an idea of what it looked like. And these people just appeared out of nowhere, and like all kind of plain clothes dressed security, like asking us very aggressively what we were doing and what we were up to and stuff. We had to kind of go, oh, we're just students, we're doing a project.
Good blood.
This is your level, isn't it, Ady? This is all your work.
Well,
yeah.
this particular area that you're in is what Gary Tung had developed. So. But I helped him out with some of the rendering and lighting. So
this painting here is called Lot and his daughters. So the daughters of Lot were expelled from Sodom, and they're trying to seduce their fathers so they could reproduce using the wine. This is a reference to the Nephilim, in my opinion. Quite heavy there, because Nephilims are, trying to kind of reproduce in this game, and we're trying to stop them from that because they are bad people. Sorry, I'm just cheating because I'll be here hours. I am very bad at this. I am cheating. This is this still life painting here. There's quite a few still lifes in Louvre in this area particularly. I'll show you more. But basically, still life, they look like normal kind of still life portraits, but they all have hidden meanings. Like for example, knife would represent a victim or whatever. Over here is Rebirth of Venus, of course, but by Botticelli. Which is quite symbolic to Lara, because, we assume she's dead in Tomb Raider 4, and now she kind of born again out of nowhere, in Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness. I'm flying here, leave me alone. Can the girl not fly around? Ady, do you want to tell us how this was all created, all this?
Well, it was all done using Maya. It was all rendered in Maya and then converted over into the Tomb Raider engine. So we tried to get as realistic as possible to the main gallery, which you can see now, but pretty much I grabbed as much painting reference that I had online, really.
What we have here is Virgin on the Rock, and this one has Archangel Uriel on your right side, the man-child thingy with the cape. So he's Archangel Uriel is present actually on Obscura painting. He is rewarding Lux Veritatis knights who fought Nephilims.
All the paintings in there I did.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you can. Do you want to tell us about them?
I don't know whether I can go that in depth. They were a lot of them based on what are they called? There's a particular Book of Hours by these French artists whose names I can't remember. But the brothers, and the Book of Hours is sort of a thing that people did in the kind of 15th century, detailing the seasons and stuff, which I definitely took apart and put together again with a lot of more other photos and a lot of color grading and stuff. I wasn't being too, in terms of the direct symbolism of that I involved in those paintings. I mean, I was just making stuff up really. I wasn't kind of being too exact about which angel would turn up or which aspect of the Bible that it was referencing necessarily.
Yeah, but you did actual on point, because Uriel did reward some of the warriors with immortality, which we can see them later in Tomb of Ancients. We have the skeletons, which can be those immortal knights who are still guarding us from Nephilims and stuff like that. You have to.
Maybe
so there's a lot of hidden meaning.
Maybe I was being guided by a hidden hand. Who knows?
Over here we have the Last Supper. Here is the actual drawing on it, because that one is not very accurate, but this one is super accurate. Tell you the truth, I've seen it in the museum. This is the actual how it looks.
Ash, I'm going to have to go, darling.
It's all right. Thank you so much for appearing.
Sorry.
The chat says bye, Jonell.
Much love to all of you.
This one is called Supper at Emmaus. So basically what happened here, Jesus was resurrected, read Lara. She was just resurrected, so he went for a dinner someplace. I don't know the entire myth, I'm not very religious at all. These are his followers. He says, yeah guys, it's me, I'm Jesus, I'm actually not dead. And they're say, what? See, they're surprised. So it's us, the fans, being oh, Lara's alive, it's okay. So it's a good reference to Lara with this painting. I think accidental. Ady, please say it's not. Probably is.
Here's an interesting question for James Kenny. Camellia Mink asks, how has concept art changed from when you worked on AOD to nowadays?
I did concept art for Angel of Darkness, and I haven't really worked as a concept artist since particularly. I mean, I do bits and pieces, but it's not really my job necessarily. And the concept art I was doing was just, it was kind of the beginning of that stuff, and then what we didn't have the kind of community that people have now, that I was just following my own path. I wasn't really looking particularly at other people's work because it wasn't necessarily that freely available. You didn't have things like ArtStation or anything like that now. The issue I would have with concept art now is that it has a very generic look, whereas the stuff that we were doing was a lot more, it was kind of artist-centric, I guess. You see there's lots of amazing work out there and there are lots of amazing artists, but sometimes you struggle to see any originality. I think we were allowed to be a bit more original.
Classic.
Hello.
Hey, Murti.
Hello, there he is.
We can hear you fine.
You can hear me fine? Oh, right, okay. Right, if I had a coconut for every time somebody said that.
I love it. You know, we were asking when we were talking to Jonell, or I asked, I wonder who wrote that line, and Megan did say, I'm sure Murti did. So did you write that line then?
Yes. It's a little known fact that when Lara was at boarding school, she was part of a coconut orchestra, and she learned to play coconuts in harmony with about 20 other kids.
That explains everything.
No, it explains nothing.
Ady, what do you do these days?
Oh, what do? I teach game art at Falmouth University. Yeah, so I'm in Cornwall and been there 2 years now. So I teach on the master's course and on the BA course in game art.
James, I know you are involved in like game industry, but also in like CGI stuff.
I worked at Core, and then I did work in games for many years, and then I was back for about 3 years working for another company in Ireland, but now I'm back in sort of film.
So basically, my question was, how long it took you guys to realize that this game actually had a cult following?
Only when Ash and Murti contacted me and sort of were telling me about it, because I had no idea really.
I'm sure you were surprised at Play Expo when like so many people actually, were there.
Yeah.
Because Rich Morton was like, are there going to be like 20 people or something? I'm like, no, we are prime time, main stage. What you talking about?
I'm going to have to go, Ash.
Fantastic. Okay, well, thank you so much for showing up, James.
Murti, I have a question for you that's not on your website, so you can't tell to people, just look it up on my website.
Oh, a fresh question.
Yes.
A new question I've not heard before.
Oh,
wonderful.
No. I don't know if you know, but yesterday, Official Tomb Raider channel released all of the 3 AOD novels, which are considered, like official novels.
I heard about that, yeah.
Yeah, so can you explain to people exactly how they don't tie in with your story, if that's not a problem? I would say they tie in, but they don't.
Well, where to start? No.
Yeah.
No. They are, as far as I understand, they are completely separate and standalone. I was never any part of that. I wasn't consulted or asked. I didn't contribute anything to it. So I don't really know that much about them. I've heard my only opinions worth expressing are ones that I've heard from other people, but having not read them, I can't really express a worthwhile, valuable opinion about those. But all power to the guy who wrote them. Wonderful. I was intrigued to see that one of them was called the Man of Bronze, and that's the name of Doc Savage, who is one of my all-time favorite 30s pulp action hero. Doc Savage, the Man of Bronze, and of course it's nothing to do with that. That's about as much as I know about those. But no, they're nothing to do with anything to do with Angel of Darkness or any canon work, as far as I understand. I've written a very, very extensive storyline about what happened to Lara in the desert, El Hawa, the Desert Lara episode, and it's not based on anything else. It's all new material that I've pulled together, new ideas, new concepts, and actually would slot in very well if the Angel of Darkness 2 game story takes place in Cappadocia, as I was hoping it would be. Then Angel of Darkness 3 could be when Lara returns to the desert to look for the lost tribe that supposedly was slaughtered, was murdered, but actually may not have been. Hint, hint. She goes back to the desert to look for her lost tribe and all the people that she loved and protected there. And Curtis goes back with her, and Morgoth trails along as well. And, the adventure takes place there. So I've outlined a lot of that, strangely enough, on my website. I won't be writing that. I've just written the outline of the story and suggested ideas, but that'll be up to other people to take forward. Unless Crystal Dynamics come and say, hey, we like this, Murti. Here's a bag of gold doubloons. Can you help us write it? And I'll say, well, I don't know. Is that enough gold doubloons? Let's see. Don't know. But yeah, I put my thoughts down on the website. So if you want to see what my thoughts are, have a look there.
It's for you, Murti. Can you tell us anything about Chingacha Red Hand, Curtis's half brother, Who was his father? Did he join Lux Veritatis? Did he have any powers?
Chingacha Redhand is yes, he's Curtis's half brother. So a shared mother, but his Chingacha Redhand's father was a full Navajo Indian mystic and shaman, and his mother was, very gifted as well. So he's Curtis's half brother. He's very familiar with Lux Veritatis history and so on. And in fact, if you look on the website, in the background history of Curtis, it mentions more about Chingacha. And also, if you look at the material about knowingly, the assassin and Curtis have already run into each other many years before, and Chingacha Redhand was involved with that as well. So that's all material that's on the website.
There is a underwater monster in Strahov. Do you have any lore?
Well, apart from the fact that in the Strahov they were constantly experimenting with different creatures. Some of them Curtis and Lara met. They were experimenting on the prisoners that they had there. It was all pretty gruesome stuff with vivisection and all sorts of other things going on. And obviously they would be experimenting in the botanical section with the creatures there, the snapping carnivorous plants and so on. And the same with the aquatic monsters. And occasionally some of them would escape, drop into the water and disappear and mutate and grow. So a lot of those creatures were basically either lost experiments or deliberately mutated experiments to protect the areas from invaders. And that was as much as my thinking went on that.
How much of Curtis's abilities did he get from Mary? Mary? I think it was Mary.
Say again, Ash. Say again. I didn't catch.
How many of Curtis's powers he got?
What happened?
Okay, we lost him.
Breaking up, I can't.
Oh, there you go, he's back. How many of Curtis's power he got from his mother? No. Okay. Oh well. But thank you all so much. And thank you, Ady, James, Peter, Murti, for joining us, and of course Jonell, for joining us today as well. Thank you so much, guys. You made many people happy today. Bye.